Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is just a little quick conversation about Married to Medicine season 8 reunion part 1. So I've been watching the whole season of Married to Medicine season 8, and it was, a good season. Contessa and Scott really made the season interesting. Miss Quad was back, Carrie was back for some reason. Lisa Nicole was back for some unknown reason. I have no idea why Carrie and Miss Lisa Nicole came back. I really didn't understand what purpose they served. Well, other than Carrie, Carrie did serve a good purpose because she was the one that was next door to Contessa and Scott's room, and she was able to give us like a bird's eye view or bird's ear view of what was going on in Contessa and Scott's room when they went to Jekyll Island, to kind of give us an insight of, what's really happening with their marriage. Now, I wish I would have been doing reviews from day one, but I didn't. So I didn't do any reviews at all. And, so I'm just going to talk about the reunion and what really stood out to me. I have no notes, so I'm not going play by play. It's just going to be what really made an impression on my mind about the reunion. First of all, Miss Quad. Miss Quad stole the show. She wasn't. I don't think she was a main cast member. She was like a friend of the friend of the cast. But when she came upon that reunion stage, it was all about Miss Quad. She looked phenomenal. Something about Quad is just like she's got entertainment value, it factor in her DNA. She's so entertaining to watch. She's so attractive. She's so funny. She's so witty. She's quick on her feet. She's just I need a reality TV show for Miss Quad just for her. I don't care if she's cooking, if she's trying to find a man, or what she's doing. I need a reality TV show. They need to give her a spinoff. She needs to be the first Married to Medicine spinoff because Miss Quad has it going on, and I enjoyed watching Miss Quad. But anyways, now let's get to the meat and potatoes of it. Now, what really stood out for me with the reunion part 1 was Toya. First of all, Toya, because Toya, the whole season, she was a little off. Her personality was not there. This was not the Toya that we're used to. This is not the funny, sassy, quirky Toya that we're used to seeing. And it was really sad. Something is definitely going on. I'm not sure if it's hormonal. I'm not sure if life has dealt her a couple of lemons. I'm not sure what's going on with Toya, but this season Toya was off. She says it was because of the pandemic, the stress of having to be quarantined, not being able to live her life the way she's used to living her life. She mentioned how, her husband being an emergency room doctor and seeing the effects of COVID every single day, having patients die on him from COVID. Obviously, the threat of her husband getting COVID, she said something about how one time her husband was coughing in his sleep, and it got her really worried, as it would anyone. And all the other ladies, when she was talking about this and how it affected her, and maybe that was the reason why she wasn't quite the same this season, all the other ladies chimed in and they were all like, well, we've been through it. We were going through the same thing you were going through with the whole quarantine and the pandemic, and we have our own issues too. And I kind of felt bad for her because people wanted to know what was off with her. She was giving an explanation of why she was off. And then everybody was kind of like, oh, it's just, especially Dr. Heavenly, oh, it's just excuses. You're just giving excuses. And I was like, no, she's not. She's giving an explanation. Now, everybody went through it, but it affected everybody differently. Now, some things, certain people can go through something and still show up at the job with a smile on their face and never missing a step, and you would never know anything is wrong. And then some people, when things happen to them, it shows and it's obvious. And that's how it was with Toya. And she was really, really snippy with everybody. She was aggressive. She was mean spirited. Yeah. and she was giving an explanation. I just don't understand why people were like not trying to hear it. And I felt bad for her. I'm not quite sure how honest she was. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that it was the whole quarantine thing that was affecting her, and her husband being an ER doctor and, every day being worried about him. I mean, that's totally understandable. So yeah, Toya, that's what stood out to me, was Toya being really off. Now, I also am really happy, and I hope it was genuine, that Toya and, what is her name? Anila, reconciled, because I just didn't understand how they felt, like I didn't get why Toya was so mean to her. She brought her into the group, just like the way she brought in Heavenly. Then she had a falling out with Heavenly. She brought in Anila. Then she had a falling out with Anila. Because it started off with what it seemed like to me. Anila confronted Toya and said, "You've been talking behind my back to the other women in the neighborhood." And so it was kind of like beyond Married to Medicine. It was beyond the show. According to Anila, Toya was being kind of like a backstabber, not being a good friend to her. And Anila confronted her, and like Toya just kind of didn't take any accountability when the show was recording. Now, on the reunion, she did take accountability and she did apologize. And another issue that bothered Toya about Anila was Anila not paying the hair and makeup artist. And before they made up on the reunion, Toya was like, "Well, you paid them late. You paid them late." And Anila brought out her receipts to show that, but, they were paid. And according to Anila, they were paid on time. Now, I don't understand why. Okay, I kind of do understand why it would have bothered Toya if Anila was, hemming and hawing around paying the makeup artist and the hair artist. I kind of see why, because these are probably her employees, her friends, I'm not sure, but she had some type of relationship with these people, and I guess Toya felt like she was doing Anila a favor by hooking them up with her to do her hair and makeup for whatever what event that was, and then for Anila to kind of like act like she wasn't going to pay them, or that it wasn't a priority for her to pay them at that moment, made Toya probably felt some kind of way, like, I brought these people to you, they took time out to do this for you, and because I'm pretty sure these people are probably booked and busy with other clients, but they managed to squeeze in Anila, for Toya, and then here comes Anila kind of being real flippant about paying them. Yes, I can see why Toya would have been upset about that. But if you have a real friendship with Anila, just kind of, that should not have been the catalyst for your whole friendship ending, because she was being kind of silly with paying the hair and makeup people. Okay, so she was being silly about it. She was acting like it wasn't a priority for her because she said she was building this house. Then just to be like, "Girl, I know you're gonna pay my people. You're not gonna embarrass me like that," and then keep the friendship going. I didn't think that warranted Toya reacting so strongly by like cutting off the friendship and being so mean to Anila for the rest of the season. So that stood out to me. But like I said, Anila and Toya kissed and made up, and I was really happy to see that. I love it when people on reunions who've had beef during the recording of the show, when they make up at the reunion. I just really love it. I think it's just a cherry on top. Anyways, moving on. So Dr. Heavenly, out of all the women, Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie I like them. I do like them. I enjoy watching them. I like them on the show, but they're not like, I'm not their biggest cheerleader. Dr. Heavenly, I can take her a little bit more than I can take Dr. Jackie. Dr. Heavenly, was Dr. Heavenly at the reunion. I'm interested to find out why her and Toya fell apart again, because on the show, they had kissed and made up and made amends. And it was really touching to see Toya talk about exactly why she's hurt by Dr. Heavenly. Because she talked about how when her and Eugene, when they first met Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon, they were really impressed by them. They looked up to them. That was like black couple goals for Toya and Eugene. And then to see, Dr. Heavenly being Dr. Heavenly, saying the things that she was saying about Toya's finances and all that other stuff, I understand. So Toya had a right to be hurt because she really looked up to these people. And then, Dr. Heavenly turns around and kind of, I get what she was saying. but they had made up. They had talked about it. They talked it out. Dr. Heavenly apologized. It appeared genuine. And then now at the reunion, they're butting heads again. So I'm curious to see exactly, unless I missed it, I'm curious to see why they fell out again. Okay, moving on to, obviously, we just scratched the surface with Contessa. Now, the reunion ended where the girls were kind of like, it was Contessa's time, I guess. And I think the question was asked, where do her and Dr. Scott stand now? And for whatever reason, Contessa didn't want to say that she filed for separation. So she she said, well, the ladies know what's going on. Excuse me, the ladies know what's going on. And then Quad came up and said that Dr. Contessa had filed for separation. And before that, the girls were saying how, they were surprised to see after the show wrapped, Dr. Contessa and her husband and her family went on vacation together, because they were like, you came to us with a problem. And then we were trying to help you with your problem, your marital issues. And the next thing you know, you're off on vacation with them. Now, what I thought was also this is something else that stuck out to me during the show, was obviously Contessa and Scott were having some major issues. Not really sure what they were, possibly infidelity. So Contessa goes and talks to the girls about her issues with her husband. And when they're on Jekyll Island, they have this plan to do like a sort of intervention for Dr. Scott. And they all rally around Contessa and they tell their husbands, why don't y'all come down, find a way to get Scott down here, because we're going to try to, go through some type of intervention, couples therapy, or whatever to help out their marriage. So that's what happened. So when he arrived and, he arrives, it's time for the dinner, for the intervention, and the women went about it all wrong. I think that the men should have, if they were going to do it that way, which I don't agree with them doing it that way, I think it's really not, I don't think it's right to bring someone into a situation where they don't know that they're about to be ambushed. Like, they're walking into a situation, they have no idea that they are they're going to be the topic of the conversation, and they're going to be interrogated, and they're going to be confronted with some things, some very personal things, and they have no idea that this is going to be happening. I kind of felt bad for Dr. Scott. But anyway, so that's how they planned to do it. That's how it was done. But I think when it started, the women started too strong at the intervention, especially Dr. Heavenly and Toya. They were just going at it too strong. Instead of trying to understand what is the issue, they were already judge, jury, and executioner. You did something wrong. We don't like what you did. And we're going to confront you on it. And I don't think that's why it didn't work out, because he was like, I'm out of here. And he took his wife and he left. Now, what I thought was funny was that Contessa comes off as someone who you would think is very, confident and strong in who she is. She's ex-military. She's a doctor. She's advancing her career. She's very educated, very intelligent, very, strong-minded, strong-willed, fantastic mom. You would think that when it comes to her marriage, that she would exude those same qualities. But instead, she sort of like is more timid and meek, and plays a very submissive role, it seems like, almost, with her husband, because the way that he acts with her and the stuff that he does to her, I'm surprised. It leaves her in a puddle of tears. She doesn't, like, you would expect her to kind of be like, what did you say? What the hell? Like, to confront him head on, like, okay, camera's off. I need to deal with this man right now. But instead, she starts crying and she doesn't know what to do. And she's always like, well, I don't know I don't know if you're lying, if you're telling me the truth. I don't know. It's just, it's strange to see her switch like that, where and on when she's dealing with the ladies and like she's having an issue, like the way she was at Anila's daughter's birthday party. She was very strong and aggressive with Anila. The way she was last season with I forgot her name, but the lady that was on there last season or the season before, the one who was married to the psychiatrist and couldn't have children, and she had that breakdown at Toya's house, at Toya's housewarming party, and she wanted to leave, and Dr. Contessa just got in her face like a drill sergeant and was just like yelling at her and confronting her. And this woman was like in a really weak emotional state, and Dr. Contessa was not going to let up. But then with her own husband, she just kind of shrinks and becomes weak and confused, and oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand that. But anyways, I don't know what kind of hold this man, because I really thought she was the more dominant one in the relationship, but it seems like he probably is, because she went to school and then when he didn't like it, she came back. He's doing whatever he's doing in the marriage, and she just kind of doesn't really want to hold him accountable for what he's doing. I don't understand it. But anyways, so the ladies were telling her at the reunion how, we thought you were going through something in your marriage and we were there for you. And then next thing you know, you're on Instagram posting pictures of y'all are on vacation. And then Dr. Contessa was like, so what am I supposed to do? I still have children and I still live with this man, and we are still trying to make a go at it. I guess they were trying to make a go at it. And then all of a sudden, Quad mentions that she had filed for separation. And supposedly this is like new to Dr. Scott. He didn't even know. That's what it seemed like to me, unless I missed something. So when Quad announced that Contessa had filed for separation, Dr. Scott, he's in the back room with the other husbands, and it seemed like he was blindsided by this. Now, my opinion on Contessa and Scott's marriage, I think what happened with that situation is that the popularity of the show probably garnered him a lot of attention from women that he wasn't used to. Not to say that he's not attractive. He's an attractive man, accomplished, successful. He's a doctor. He's got it going on. But I think that when you reach, TV fame, so, this like celebrity fame, I think that the attention that you get is a little bit different. It's more than just women looking at you twice when they walk past you, or, casually flirting with you at a party. When you're on a TV show and it's successful and everybody knows who you are, I think the caliber of women that try to get your attention are a completely different breed than what you are used to in your inner circle. And so I think he kind of got caught up. He wasn't used to all the DMs and the pictures and all of this and that going on social media. He got caught up and he didn't know how to back off. He didn't know how to say no, because it was fun. Maybe for him, it was like, oh my God, look, my DMs are full, my IMs are full, and all this attention of women falling all over me. And and I understand that, obviously his wife loves him. His wife wants to be with him. She wants to work it out with him. But to have strangers show this much attention to you, he didn't know how to handle it. And I don't understand why the husbands didn't kind of like forewarn him and be like, hey, you're on this successful show. You're going to see some crazy stuff out there. Stay away from it all. Delete it all. Show your wife. Delete it. Don't get involved, because you're going to get caught up and it's going to ruin your family. I don't know why no one told him, but it seems like that's what it is. Dr. Scott he comes across as a liar. He kind of reminds me of Dr. Eugene, Quad's ex-husband. He doesn't know how to get her, because he's not used to this. He's not like a person who's used to living this double life. So anyways, he comes off as a liar. I think he got caught up with all the attention from social media, because Carrie, the one useful purpose that she served this whole season, was telling us what happened in Scott and Contessa's room the morning that they left. And, according to Carrie, they had this huge argument, and Contessa was accusing Scott of having pictures of naked women on his phone. And so that's what it seems like to me. Now, obviously, it kind of seems like Scott has checked out of the marriage. I think when he's like one-on-one with Contessa, he's checked out. I don't know if he has one special person or he's just falling in love again with the single life and kind of wants to veer more towards that way of being a single man again. I don't know what's happening. But it kind of seems like from when I watched this whole season, even though there are moments when he wants to work it out, it doesn't seem like he's willing to put in the work to work it out. It takes more than just grabbing your wife's hand from a very confrontational dinner scene and dragging her back to your hotel room to show that you want to make it work. You have to really put in the work. You have to really listen to what she's saying and listen to what she's asking for and try to meet her halfway. But he seems like he doesn't want to do that. And he also seems like someone who, for some reason, I don't know, because I'm assuming that Contessa, probably the way that I saw her treat, what was that woman's name? I can't remember her name. The one who couldn't have children and was married to that psychiatrist. I don't remember her name. But the way she came at her and the way she is with the other women, it seems like she's very aggressive. She's very, very like in your face. And maybe she's like that with Scott, or she used to be like that with Scott, and Scott didn't like that. He's not going to be told what to do by her, because it seems like he doesn't want to bend. He doesn't want to compromise. He doesn't want to meet her halfway on anything. It's like it's his way or no way. And because I remember him, I think he kind of, I don't know if it's what he said something to the effect of, to me, this is what I interpreted. I don't remember what scene. I don't know what was going on. I don't know who was there. But it seems like he said something to the effect of, she's not going to tell me what to do. Like, he's just so against doing anything Contessa wants him to do. Like, it's going to show that he's a weak husband, that he's henpecked or something if he, steps in line to his drill sergeant wife and, just does whatever she wants. Because when the men were counseling him and were telling him, just agree with her and just do what she says, it's like he really wasn't feeling that. I don't know, but that's going to be interesting to see. What else Dr. Jackie. Now, Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie, we understand that they kissed and made up as well last season, whatever season it was. They made amends after their friendship kind of fell apart over Dr. Heavenly. It seemed like, they were friends again, but not quite back where they used to be. That's what it seems like to me. Now, at the reunions, Dr. Jackie is always almost non-existent. You almost forget that she's there. And my issue with Dr. Jackie is that, number one, I kind of saw her in a different light when she brought out that woman's infertility issues in that public forum. When she was giving that speech where I forgot what was going on, but there was some type of an event, and Dr. Jackie was giving a speech, and she pointed out that particular woman's infertility issues. I can't remember her name. Pointing out her infertility issues in a public space like that, which I couldn't believe that she did that. So ever since, and then she didn't want to really be accountable for it. She was like forced to be accountable for it, forced to apologize about it. And she was still kind of like, I said what I said. But that right there made me see Dr. Jackie kind of differently. And I've never really seen her the same since. Her positivity is fine, healthy lifestyle. I agree with that. That's great that she is, shedding light on African Americans living a healthier life. I give her much kudos for that. But there's something about her at the reunions. It's cringy to watch her because it seems like I can feel how uncomfortable she is, how much she doesn't want to be around all of the messiness and the shouting and the profanity and the fights. When they put the camera on her when people are going at it, it's just so uncomfortable to watch. And I'm kind of like, why do you even do this? Why are you here? If this is not your cup of tea, why are you even here? Because no one's going to listen to you in trying to be more positive, trying to be less angry, less confrontational, using to talk effectively with one another. No one on this show is going to do, because if they were to do that, we wouldn't have a show. We have a show because of the messiness. So I don't understand. I understand, maybe because she's sort of like, she's needed to balance everything out. But at the reunions, it just seems like she always is like, her hand is covering her face. She's disappearing into her chair. She just doesn't want to be a part of it. And I feel bad for her because I can sense how uncomfortable she is. And that's what happened when I watched the reunion. When they put the camera on her, when Heavenly and Toya were going at it, it was really bad. I mean, she was really not comfortable being there. But that's that. And then evidently, it seems like, like I said before, Simone and Jackie kind of seemed like they really weren't what they used to be. Like you could still, I felt like the tension was still there during the season with Simone and Jackie, because there was that one scene where Simone had brought food. They were meeting for lunch, like the way they used to do back in the day when they would go meet outside on the bench and have lunch together. But then this time when they had lunch together, not only was it a different scene, it wasn't their normal scene, their normal bench. They're having it inside one of their offices, and they were talking about Lisa Nicole, and Simone was talking about how Simone came up with an idea for getting people to vote, and Lisa Nicole just kind of took over the whole show and dominated everything. And Simone was expressing her, issues with that, and it just seemed like between Jackie and Simone, like there was like still things just were not back on track 100%. And it seems like that's going to probably come out in the reunion, that they're not really where they used to be. I'm not sure. Now, what surprises me, what shocks me to no end, is how Jackie and Heavenly became friends. Because Heavenly is the epitome of mess. Jackie is the epitome of no mess. So how did they ever become friends? I wonder if Jackie sees something in Heavenly that she wishes that she could be. I don't know. I'm just asking. So, yeah, that was my little, quick conversation with the reunion. I think I covered everybody. I think I did. Did I miss anybody? I think I covered everybody. Just kind of like, the stuff that I wanted to highlight. I don't understand the purpose of Carrie other than, her telling us what happened with Scott and Contessa in the room that morning. Other than that, I see no purpose. I don't know why Carrie was back. And Lisa Nicole and her legal issues with her clinic. I'm like, girl, you should have just stayed off the show. You came on the show and you embarrassed yourself. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. So I think the part 2 comes on tomorrow, which is Sunday, and maybe I'll be back and do a review for that, or a quick little conversation about that. And so I'll see y'all next time. Bye.